It's in the name.
Welcome into the good old-fashioned dislike. I'm just going to be honest with you. I look forward to this episode all year long, getting my boys together, talking trash on these teams, and they all deserve it, including my beloved Crimson Tide. Probably deserve the most smack talk of any of them. But, you know, it is what it is. Today, we picked the official panel of dislike. Check out the description below, click the link, jump on our Bowlmania, challenge us. You can challenge us as a group, challenge us as individual. If you beat the group, if you're number one overall, then you get some free merch from benandtravis.com. You can get your own favorite team panel of dislike, or a good old-fashioned dislike podcast t-shirt. I'm repping the Tide. It has a big old thumbs down on the back, which is exactly how I feel about the College Football Playoff Committee. I'm sure that we'll get into some of that. And it doesn't even have to do anything with the Tide, Blake. Like, I got issues, and it doesn't have anything to do with Alabama being left out. Like, some of this stuff is ridiculous. I'm sure we'll get into it. If you're looking at the screen as I am, you got Blake Holloman, the resident Barner, also the It's in the Name guy. He does the voice, and so he kicks all these great podcasts off, and even the not so great podcasts off. Be sure to get in the comments. Jeff Tabner already sending shots across the bow. Tell Will to put his phone down. So there it is.
He's from West Virginia. He don't even know what a phone is.
Hey, he feels great today.
That's Knoxville. In the middle there, you got Ben Hayes. Ben, how you doing?
I'm good.
He's the counselor. We've had several conversations. He's trying to help me get over this college football playoff thing as well. And, of course, Will Mahan over there on his phone, as Jeff Tabner has already seen.
I thought you were going to finish it. Will Mahan, the reigning.
Oh, yes, that's right. Reigning and defending champion.
Thank you.
Of the Pick'em. Still waiting on that jersey to show up. We're working on it, trying to get that out to you there, Willard Jane. So, and then, of course, Josh Thorne, unable to be with us, will be announcing his picks. But the way this works is we start off the top. Number one, Will Mahan's going to pick the first bowl. And then we'll roll through with Ben, Travis, Blake, and then Josh, and it'll start over. And so all of you got in an email a couple of days ago your picks. And, of course, as usual, just like my middle school and high school students, you probably just now looked at it. But that's the beauty. It's the fun. Jump in the comments. Tell us who's winning. Jump in the bowl pick'em. Tell us who's winning. Beat us all and get some free Ben and Travis merch along with it. And as I stated, we'll be starting off with the Cricket Celebration Bowl between the 11-2 Jackson State Tigers, former home of Primetime, taking on the 9-2 South Carolina State Bulldogs. And Will, you being the reigning and defending champion, you get the first pick.
Yeah, I don't know anything about either of these teams. I actually thought Travis made a mistake, and it was going to be Jacksonville State in Alabama, but it is Jackson State. Didn't even know South Carolina really had another football team up there. So I'm rolling with Jackson State. Give me primes, dudes.
Jackson State. Great job by whoever the coach is now. Got him back in it. So apparently doing pretty good. All right, Ben Hayes. We go to the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. This is the 6-6 South Alabama Jaguars and the 6-6 Western Michigan Broncos in the Pick'em.
I want to know who's not tuning into that game.
The best thing about that is that it's a Veterans Bowl. I mean, that's it. That South.
I'll probably watch it.
Look, I'm remembering. I think I remember I picked this game last year because I think these two teams played each other. Because I said it was a Michigan and an Alabama that wasn't the Michigan Alabama that we were thinking of.
All right.
Pretty sure they played last year. I don't remember who I picked, and I don't remember who won. But a Jaguar is going to beat a Bronco any day of the week. So let's go with the Jaguars, and it's Alabama.
USA. I got Scooter. The Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl.
What's
Scooters,
Hey, Scooters Coffee is good stuff.
which makes me think of Sunshine Scooters. They're not a sponsor band, so chill out.
I'm just saying. We got one in Florence now. Let's
But
go.
we would love for the Florence
Come on,
chapter of Sunshine Scooters to give us some love. And so the Memphis Tigers of 10-2 and Jeff Taberner's 6-6 West Virginia Mountaineers, who just fired their coach. Unfortunately, Jeff, I'm going to stay in the land of cotton down here. Can I still say that? Is it all right to say cotton? I don't know. I'm going Memphis Tigers here. Memphis Tigers at 10-2 take out the West Virginia Mountaineers. Blake, you got the Boca Raton Bowl, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers at 8-5, the James Madison Dukes at 8-4.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for Boca Raton. Joey Freshwater might be hanging around down there. Western Kentucky lost their conference championship last week, so yes, they got absolutely destroyed
by Muscle Shoals quarterback.
Yeah, who
Logan Smothers.
Who are they with?
Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
The Fighting Rich Rods.
Yep.
Smoked them. So for that reason, we're going to kick a team while they're down and take the James Madison Dukes to win this Boca Raton Bowl.
That's amazing. They're 82%. ESPN agrees with you, Broheem. They do. Next up is the missing man. Somebody else have a comment there on that matchup? I know it's moving the needle there. Big fans. So next we have Josh Thorne in the Art of Sport LA Bowl. This is the California Golden Bears at 6-6, taking on the 10-3 UNLV Running Rebels. And 85% of ESPN has picked the UNLV Running Rebels. I think the Golden Bears quarterback is already in the transfer portal. Interesting enough, wasn't he crying a couple of weeks ago beating Stanford? And now he's like,
see ya.
Those guys, I'm out. So I'm going to roll with, it's either Sin City or Communism U. And I'm going UNLV here at number 24. Give me you.
Brian Harsin.
Actually, this is not in my pick. Josh Thorne went with the UNLV Running Rebels. So there you go.
Brian Harsin is the Cal new offensive coordinator. So that's as good of a reason as any to pick against.
Hey, I like Harsin.
Cal. Yeah, I bet you did. You're welcome.
Rocking that Lank t-shirt the other day.
That's true,
he's just a trolling.
It's just ironic that they're in the Art of Sport and they're 6-6. Anyway,
it is in LA, so what do they know?
I don't care. It's terrible.
All right, Will, you got the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl with Georgia Southern Eagles at 8-4, taking on the Sam Houston Bearcats. And according to ESPN, they actually spell Bearcats with a K at 9-3.
This is probably like my dad may spell Bearcats like that. You know, it's kind of a hooked on phonics style. But I'm going to go with the team from Georgia. Give me Georgia Southern.
Georgia.
Yeah, I don't even know where Sam Houston is from.
Probably.
I'm assuming
Texas.
Yeah,
that's my buddy Matt right there.
I'm assuming Texas, but yeah, give me Georgia. Because Georgia seems to be dominating the state of Texas.
They are
right now.
They are.
So
it's true.
It's a revenge match. Georgia Southern it is for Willard. All right, Benjamin Hayes. You got the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. Ohio Bobcat. What's that?
Staff infection.
SCAPH.
I think it's the other way, but still.
Okay.
Staff
DNA Cure Bowl.
Bobcats versus the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. This is tough, but I'm going to go with Jacksonville State Gamecocks on this one here in the good old state of Alabama.
They are the underdog.
Is Rich Rod leaving? He's headed
to West Virginia.
He's on the move.
Mountain Mama.
He's still angling for that Alabama job. Who knows? It might work out for him this time. So yeah, you're going with Jacksonville State.
So they lost their coach already? Is that
I don't know.
Jacksonville State
I don't know if he's going to coach the bowl or not.
I would assume he probably coaches the bowl. They've had a good season.
Let's go.
They just won the conference.
Let's go with Jacksonville State. Let's
Jacksonville State. That gives me the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl.
go.
9-4 Tulane Green Wave and the 7-5 Left for Dead 2 months ago, and now they're the greatest team that's ever played football outside of South Carolina Gamecocks at 7-5. The Florida Gators. I'm going to go with Lagway here. I'm really tempted to go Tulane because they've had a very good season.
But Tulane's quarterback just hit the portal.
Yeah.
So,
He's heading to Auburn, isn't he?
Duke.
Dude, that's right. Yeah.
and so I'm rolling with the Gators. The Gators. Also, my boss at Riverside is a big Gators fan, so maybe that'll make her happy. So, besides my good work of awesomeness at school, so I'm going with the Gators. And ladies and gentlemen, next up is our first college football playoff matchup with a grudge match, right? The State School in Indiana taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And we're all going to feel free to jump in with your comments. Blake ultimately has the pick. And so, and I like Kurt Signetti. I love the, hey, Google me, I win. But this dude was literally on TV the other day thinking that they should be hosting a game. No, I'm sorry, right? Like, I know Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. I know that they didn't play a conference championship. And so that makes me, like, if you were playing anybody else, absolutely no. But Notre Dame, I just would love to see them have to go to Bloomington. I'll say that. But I don't think Indiana deserved a home game. I'll say that much, right? Will, you got anything on this matchup?
How bad did Indiana lose to Ohio State?
Is it 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, I mean they're going to get
38-15.
Yeah, they're going to get curb stomped.
Is everybody a West Virginia native?
I think everybody's from there.
Everybody's. It's interesting, Jim.
And I thought it was hilarious that Marcus Freeman in his interview was making fun of Kurt and the Google me thing from the get-go. So maybe that's fire for Indiana, but
watch yourself.
Yeah, I think
Kurt Signetti, who, according to Jeff Tabener, is a Morgantown, West Virginia native. Apparently, if you're going to coach, I guess I am from West Virginia, somewhere down the line.
Who coaches is from West Virginia.
That's the way that rolls. Matt Carney taking the Irish as bad as he hates to say it. I hear you, bro. Ben, you got anything on the Hoosiers and the Golden Domers?
Well, I've been to Notre Dame. I've walked the campus.
Nice
campus. But there's very few there's very few actual on-campus students. I learned that. Like, their campus is not massive, like a lot of the state schools that you think about, like Alabama, Auburn. I mean,
bigger than Freed, I'm sure, right?
Probably, but not much. I don't know that they have that many more.
They have a touchdown.
They have touchdown Jesus, and that's cool. So
that's right.
Freed has a touchdown. Well, they used to have a touchdown. Ralph Gilmore. They used to have a touchdown. Ralph Gilmore used to.
They have a touchdown rock, don't they?
No, it's a lion.
Oh, okay.
You can paint it. That's about it.
For this one, I'm going with the Fairhope, Alabama quarterback, Riley Leonard, leading the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to a large victory. The spread is 8.5. I think they cover that easy. I'm not saying go bet on this game, but if I was a betting man,
we did not.
I might take this one as a sure thing for me. So,
Chalk City, baby, Chalk City. I'm not against it. I'm not raging against that machine as much as I'm cheering for the Hoosiers. Don't get me wrong, right? Until Notre Dame rolls up against that team from Knoxville, which I hope they don't even get a chance, I will be pulling against the Golden Domers because that's how far they are on my list. All right, so Notre Dame moving on to the second round of the first ever 12-team college football playoff. And then now we have Josh Thorne, right? Gets to call the number 11 SMU Mustangs traveling to Happy Valley, number 6 Penn State, as Blake calls them, the Brittany Lions at 11-2. Both teams at 11-2. Blake, what's your take on this matchup?
Well, I wasn't prepared for you to ask me about this.
Oh, well, Ben, if you'd like to jump on that train, any of you, I'll say it, right? Like SMU, how is SMU ranked ahead of Clemson? Anybody want to answer that for me? How is SMU ranked ahead of Clemson? We don't have to bring up Alabama. Like, shouldn't Clemson be?
Somebody said if you ranked Clemson ahead of SMU, there was something where they had to do that to keep Alabama out. Can't remember what it was, but I listened to an analyst talk about that it had to be that way so that it still fit for Bama to not get in. So I don't know how that works, but, we've got the 16th rated team in the country also in the playoff too. So
12 best. I don't know. I'm lost. Anyways, so anybody else got any comments on this, or did I sum it up pretty nicely? SMU, Penn State. Yeah. I will say something's got to give here, right? Like SMU's either got to beat somebody good or James Franklin has to win a big game, right? So something has got to break here, one streak or another.
If SMU's line plays the way it did they played Oregon. No, who did they play? No, in the conference championship, Penn State.
Oh, Penn State played Oregon.
Yeah, if they play the way they played against Oregon, I think they'll beat them by 4 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean they played well.
Both of these teams surprised me in their conference championship games. SMU scored way more than I thought they were going to score against Clemson.
Well, that's just Clemson.
There was a lot of it at the end.
Well, it was at the end, but Clemson's defense is pretty good. They've always had athletes on that side of the ball
when they're playing hard.
Well, yeah.
That's anybody.
Right, yeah.
Go ahead.
But then I saw Penn State. They scored way more than I thought they were going to score against Oregon. I expected that game to be similar to the Ohio State game that was earlier in the year when Oregon beat them. But if these teams play anything like what they played in the conference championship games, I think it's going to be Penn State is just going to walk all over them. I just don't think they have the dogs to match.
Josh Thorne agrees. He says SMU will get blown out by the Brittany Lions. And so I think that's the general consensus of the panel, but it is Josh's final pick, and he's picking Penn State to move on. That brings up Will. Will, you got the number 12 Clemson Tigers at 10-3, bumping the Tide out, taking on number 5 Texas Longhorns, who honestly, I'm going to say this, obviously I think the SEC schedule is tougher than SMU's, but to me, they're kind of in the same boat. Like, who have you beat that is good? You've played 2 really good teams. They just happen to be the same team, and you lost both of them. So you got Texas and Clemson looking to try to move on to the second round. Any thoughts there, Blake, Ben? It's kind of Texas to me. I'm like, show me something, right? Outside of a trip to Tuscaloosa last year, which I guess should shut me up, but it's not going to. What have you done for me lately?
I think too, like Sark going last year, who did they beat in the Final Four game to get to? Who was it? Was it last year?
Washington beat Texas.
Washington.
That's right, Washington. Yeah. So it's like, I think Sark has the roster, right? A lot of people are saying on Twitter, at some point you got to get Arch in the game more. I don't know that that's necessarily that they feel like Ewers hasn't played well, but I think you give Sark 2 weeks to game plan for Clemson. I mean, I think roster on paper, they've got the better team. I think they've just got to put a full game together, and it was close with Georgia, and I feel like Georgia's got a stout defense, probably better than Clemson. So, I thought it's Texas. I think they got it. So that's what I'm rolling with.
The spread is 11.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Texas, though.
Yeah.
And
being a home game for Texas, I feel like it's got to say something.
Texas got more dudes.
Yeah.
I felt like Clemson really tried to give away the SMU game. Like, I know they came back and won it, but they were like, they had a commanding lead and it just kept getting away from them. So I think if Texas goes to the air and starts attacking, they're going to do the same thing.
It surprised me, like with Bond, like Bond, he did some great things at Alabama, but in the 2 games against Georgia, he ended up having like 2 catches for 18 yards.
Like nothing.
It's like, where did that go? And we know he's got the speed.
I guess it has to be 4th and 31 for him to show up. I don't know.
Oh, hey.
I didn't say anything about SMU keeping Alabama out of the playoff.
Gotta be weird. I'm just saying.
That they did.
I'm just saying. It must be specific situations. He's done nothing, right?
I have PTSD, Peyton Thorne stress disorder.
Well, I appreciate you, Blake, talking some sense into us about Jalen Milroe a few weeks ago, right? Like,
Man.
We just had it too good. We're spoiled. Andy Duncan, howdy. How you doing, man? Duncan, feel free. This is a safe space to let it all out about Ole Miss missing the playoff, man.
Knew that was coming.
It's a safe space, brother. It's a safe space. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to know how you're feeling at this point. But we know Andy Duncan's a happy guy. No college football getting him down. All right, so Texas moves on according to Will. Ben Hayes, you have the next dishonorable duty for all of us. I just said duty, but you have the number 9 Tennessee Volunteers.
And sadly, this is going to be my last pick before I have to roll out. I didn't realize we were doing some birthday things for Stana. And so I guess I wasn't
in trouble
until I got a text. So I'm going to roll out in a second, but I had to stay around for this one.
Number 8, Ohio State, Tennessee. Y'all know how I feel about the Vols.
Tennessee.
They can't lose enough. Can't lose enough.
Wants me to pick them. In my evaluation of what I've seen of Ohio State and Tennessee, I really feel like Tennessee probably would win this game, but I kind of don't want them to. On the
Ohio
other
State,
end,
7.5 point favorite.
But are they really? See, I'm kind of surprised by that. I've kind of been picking on this game. I feel like Ohio State's going to come out there and win. I really, I don't have a whole lot in my heart for either one of them. I think the thing that, well, anyway, I'll leave it at that. I think I picked Ohio State on my pick'em, so I'm going to go with that.
Is Ryan Day on the hot seat if he loses to Tennessee?
If Ohio State is dumb, and most college fan bases are, so yes, probably.
I'll say this about Tennessee and Nico Iamaleava against the AP top 25 teams. He's a 60% passer for 766 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 picks.
Yeah.
That's not. He is a really good talent. He's really young still.
He's really good next year.
He's going to be really good. But that was
also.
I think he's got some growing up to do, and unless he does it for this game, I don't think they're gonna.
He has not been great on the road.
Yeah,
correct.
Tennessee's not been great on the road. We just haven't seen it very much. 5 straight weeks at home, bookended by 2 big L's. But anyways, I hope in my heart of hearts they come out and let Amahama try to win it for them. I hope. But if they got any kind of football sense, they're going to hand that rock off to Dylan Sampson about 800 times.
Oh, yeah. That's what you got to do to win.
Because that defense has got some dogs. Ben, you going to send me those picks maybe? I don't know.
Man, just flipped this chair.
We're doing it live.
Duncan said they got to get stepped up defensive line to beat Tennessee, in my opinion. Yeah. Like if Tennessee doesn't give it to Sampson 1,000 times, I'll make fun of them for the rest of their lives.
And he just won Offensive Player of the Year in the SEC, I think. Sampson did.
So. Oh, yeah. Hand the ball off if you want success. I don't want you to have success. Try to win it with the quarterback. Do it Tennessee Titans style. We have a beast back here who will not touch it but 5 times. All right. So number next is me, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, which is always fun to say. This is probably my favorite mascot matchup, the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Coastal Carolina 6-6 versus the UTSA Roadrunners of San Antonio. I'm going with the Chanticleers.
That's a Chanticleer right there. I mean, that's pretty cool.
That's kind of scary. I don't want to go against that. I'll be honest with you. All right, so we're back to Blake with the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. The Huskies of Northern Illinois, who actually have a win over both Notre Dame and Alabama from a while back, at 7-5, taking on the Fresno State Bulldogs at 6-6. Blake,
man, this one is one of the most difficult ones for me to pick, because the reason why Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame is because they have like 50 seniors on that team. Like they are a very old team, and I've went back and forth on this game a lot, and I may flip my pick to them right now. I was thinking Fresno was going to come out and sling it around, but I think I'm going to flip my pick. I'm going to go Northern Illinois here.
Boom, live on the air. I know that I just got a little bit of a tinge of a tingle myself, just the excitement of flipping that pick. Not so fast, Sunshine Scooter. And so that brings us to the Hawaii Bowl with Josh Thorne making another pick. If I'm understanding correctly, make sure I got this down right. The Hawaii Bowl, we got the South Florida Bulls, who are in the business of giving Alabama fans heart attacks every year, versus the 7-5 San Jose State Spartans at 7-5 as well. And Josh Thorne is going with San Jose State, who is always the hardest cupcake, at 7-5, or that's what he said. So there we go. And now we're back to Willard. Willard, you got the Game Above Sports Bowl, the Pittsburgh Panthers at 7-5 taking on the Toledo Rockets.
So Pittsburgh is favored at a 9-point favorite. Their quarterback, Travis, you'll recognize this, is Eli Holstein, which was redshirted at Alabama last year, hit the portal. This year went to Pittsburgh, has thrown 17 touchdowns and over 2,200 yards this season.
Not bad.
So I'm going to roll with the former Tide player and the Pittsburgh Panthers.
Did he even last a season, or did he like bail out during the Saban?
No, he was a full season.
All right.
Yeah.
Build the statue. Okay. Ben Hayes got the Rate Bowl with the Rutgers Scarlet Knights and the Kansas State.
That would be Rate.
Rate Bowl.
Rate.
That would be weird and awkward all at the same time, and terrible, to be honest. And he's going with the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers at 7-5 over Kansas State, and that's an upset.
Yep.
Upset special from Benjamin Hayes.
I think like 3 upsets because he does not have a clue.
No clue, which means he'll probably win the jersey this year. I'm just kidding. That's never going to happen. All right. Not as long as I'm around to cook the books. Maybe that's what I'll do with our Pick'em challenge. I'll just come out at the end of March and be like, well, we really looked at this game and we looked at how they almost blew it and thought they were a really good team. And then the team that they actually beat and didn't blow it by, we'll let them in because they gave it a really good shot.
Sounds like our government. So
yes, and the committee. So I'm going Arkansas State Red Wolves, Butch Jones, brick by brick at 7-5, taking on the Bowling Green Falcons, former home of Urban Meyer at 7-5. I'm never picking Butch Jones. Let's go Bowling Green Falcons. May Tennessee never get anything good. Good job, Ben. I'm glad you're listening. Andy Duncan says he's quiet. He's not saying nothing, which I probably could stand to do a little more of. All right. So we got Blake Balake, Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. You got the Oklahoma Sooners, which you have to love a little bit, Blake, since, you know, it was our egg out in Norman that cost us. They're totally losing this game, by the way, against the 8-3 Navy midshipmen.
He's also hoping their quarterback comes to Auburn, too.
Yeah, Jackson Arnold, who ran for 131 yards against Alabama, is a former top 10 overall recruit. Hit the portal. Oklahoma is looking to bring in John Mateer, quarterback from Washington State, bringing their offensive coordinator to Oklahoma. So Arnold hit the portal.
They've also lost 2 receivers to the portal past couple days.
So they are reeling. And when's the last time you heard a Navy midshipman enter the portal? That does not happen. They will be ready to rock and roll. Oklahoma has a better football team, or more talent on the team, but Navy has a better football team. So I'm going to go with Navy to beat Oklahoma. I may have flipped that one on you as well, Travis.
Jackson Arnold on his 16th team, or is that TJ Finley's record?
TJ Finley. I think TJ Finley and Robbie Ashford have combined for 9 different teams in their college tenure.
Lord have mercy.
Is Navy the one running the triple option?
Yeah, I think they still run.
They still run it?
I think they have to.
Yeah.
Josh Thorne, I think it's in the contract. Josh Thorne gets the Birmingham Bowl of the really smart Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets of 8 overtime. This game is for them to lock a spot in the playoffs, although it really wasn't. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets taking on those. That's right. The Alabama State champion Vanderbilt Commodores.
That's a hospital.
Yes. A bunch of smart people. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, Vandy, and Josh Thorne he said this one was tough, but Georgia Tech, they took Georgia to 8 overtimes, and I'm guessing they don't have many players that will opt out. So he's going with the Yellow Jackets. So there's 2 games in a back-to-back that are going to make my feelings even more hurt when they both lose those games.
The number 1 overall player in the portal is a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket. He visited Auburn today. He's a wide receiver, Eric Singleton Jr. So he's the best player in the portal right now, but we'll see what Josh has got for him.
Nice. So Georgia Tech's rolling right there, and we come back to Willard at AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Texas Tech Red Raiders at 8-4, taking on those Arkansas Pig Razorbacks at 6-6.
So if I had like a favorite coach, just not because of ability to coach, it would be Sam Pittman. I mean, he's probably a good coach. He just hasn't done well, which I'm assuming getting people to Arkansas is not that easy. But he is a very likable guy, seems to be a player's coach. Texas Tech is favored by 1, but the majority is 60-40 Arkansas on ESPN predictions. And I'm just a big Sam Pittman fan, and I think the Arkansas people are ready for him to go. But I think he deserves to stay and gets a big win here. So they've had a few. Their top tight end just hit the portal. He's at Alabama this weekend. So they've got some great players, but I think they're probably a more talented roster. So I'm going to go Arkansas.
Duncan rolling with the Navy midshipmen as well. So we got Arkansas in the bank. We got Ben Hayes with the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, the Syracuse Orange, who gave us Alabama folks a little bit of hope before another Orange team showed up. They can't be trusted. No one who wears orange on a regular basis can be trusted. So the number 21 Syracuse Orange, 9-3. I trust Blake. I'll take that back. Washington State at 8-4. Benjamin Hayes. Let's see what he's got here with this one. He's got the Orangeman of Syracuse rolling in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. And that leaves me with the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies, and the 6-6 USC Trojans. Both these teams we thought were going to be a little bit bigger deal, I think, this year. Maybe not so much the Aggies, but when USC started off with that big win over LSU, we thought, man, that may be something. USC is the Josh Thorne lookalike still quarterbacking for USC, or did I see him hit the portal?
Miller Moss is in the portal.
Of course he is. So I'm going with the Aggies. More dudes. Aggies win. Win.
The only downfall of the Aggies are their male cheerleaders.
Yeah, that's next level weirdo, man.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's
not in on the yell leaders. I hear you, bro. I hear you. Jeff Tabner asking where Ben is. I think he had a birthday thing for one of his kids I can't name. So
He forgot that they were celebrating his daughter's birthday.
It was his daughter's
But
birthday.
a little bit of grace. He's got 5 kids, so I mean, it's
hard to keep up with them.
Yeah, it's a birthday every couple of weeks over there.
All right, Blake. So we've got a basketball matchup it's a football game with basketball schools in a baseball stadium. Wasabi Fenway Bowl, the Yukon Huskies at 8-4, and the North Carolina Tar Heels, the fighting Bill Belichick's.
Before Blake goes, I read this on Twitter today, and I fully agree that Alabama broke North Carolina's spirit by Nate Oates being Hubert Davis's dad, and so they had to go out and hire Belichick to do something.
Wow.
Freddie Kitchens, interim head coach for the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Ooh, Gadsden, Alabama native, Freddie Kitchens.
So who's winning this football game on a baseball field?
Well, this game's going to be hot. Hence the Wasabi name. This is an incredible matchup. North Carolina. I'm going to go with the Fighting Bill Belichick's. I mean, Connecticut's good, but I feel that if they've got a good player, they are long gone by now to the portal. So I think they got a good running back, and Auburn was maybe looking at him or something.
Even though North Carolina treated Mac Brown terribly.
I mean, it's they did.
They could have waited.
They could have waited, but it's time for him to go.
Yeah,
Will UConn's basketball coach be there to yell at the officials?
Man.
Holy smokes. Did you see where he's like, we're no longer playing in any 3-day tournaments?
Yeah.
Home and home or home and aways.
That guy's next level.
He is.
He is.
The Hurleys are nuts.
He's a little crazy.
But we love him because his family taught Nate Oates. So
nice. The Bad Boy Mowers, right? Of course, this is a Josh Thorne pick, right? It has to be. If I could just locate where that text group is, that would be awesome. There we go. All right. So the Bad Boy Mowers, let's see. This is the Pinstripe Bowl, also in a baseball stadium. The Boston College Eagles with Bill O'Brien, who committed war crimes in certain games for Alabama, taking on the 6-6 Nebraska Cornhuskers. And for some reason, Nebraska's picked to win. We know that if it's close, they're not winning. But let's see, what did he say here? Going with corn, rinse, wash, repeat, Nebraska Cornhuskers. So that's just Josh Thorne's pick, as Scott Frost refers to Central Florida. All right, Will, you got the Isleta, am I saying that right? New Mexico Bowl with the Ragin' Cajuns at 10-3, one of my favorite college football video game teams to rebuild. Taking on the TCU, we got our entire world destroyed a few years ago by Georgia on a national stage at 8-4.
So we have some connections here at church to the Raging Cajuns, and we had some people even come and stay at our church building from the hurricane, all that from Louisiana. So we like some of the football teams down there, but give me the Christians of the Horned Frog country.
How about
the Texas Christian University?
Can we have the frog on the screen? Can we get that at a bowl game? Or
what is it called? The Techno
Toad.
The Techno Toad, which is crazy, but they're actually 12.5-point favorites. So, which is quite a bit. So
out of nowhere, it's like the RKO out of nowhere.
Maybe it's a Hypno Toad.
The Hypno Toad,
right.
Yeah.
So TCU, Ben's got the Pop-Tarts Bowl, the Iowa State Cyclones at number 18, 10-3, taking on the number 13 Miami Hurricanes. The Hurricanes playing someone with a pulse. That's good. Finally, actually, they probably played more people with a pulse than SMU, but who's counting? Not me. It's not like I've done a deep dive of any sort into any of this garbage, but here we are nonetheless. The Pop-Tarts Bowl. Are we eating the Pop-Tart this year?
I've been seeing pictures of the Pop-Tart circulating Twitter over this week, and I mean it's kind of scary. Just one eyeball was left on this poor mascot. So I hope they are being eaten, but I cannot confirm.
Nice. Andy Duncan says that the UConn coach should get a technical foul.
That is true.
Nate Oates probably racks them all up for everyone else. So, anyways. All right, I got the Snoop Dogg. I'm so happy about this. Snoop Dogg.
Who was the Pop-Tarts?
Oh, that was Ben. He took the Miami Hurricanes.
Oh, the Hurricanes. Okay.
Took the U and Cam Ward.
We can't go on without talking about this. Pop-Tarts dial up the crazy good drama as 3 edible mascots compete to be eaten at the 2024 Pop-Tart Bowl. So there's 3 mascots. They're going to be competing. It looks like there's a fudge, a berry, and then there may be like a mystery Pop-Tart. So
where is this game? Because I want to go.
Yeah, mystery flavor, frosted wild berry, and frosted hot fudge sundae.
It's in Orlando, guys. It's Orlando. I'm just saying.
That's attainable.
If you get any Christmas money, that's doable. That may be a trip. I just want to see.
Let's go to Orlando. We can take a flight.
Great shot.
I'm ready. So it's me and the Snoop Dizzy Diz Dog Arizona Bowl, right? I think this is the one that Gronk sponsored last year.
Oh, goodness.
And so I'm very thankful that Snoop Dogg is sponsoring the Arizona Bowl. This is the Miami, Ohio Redhawks and the Colorado State Rams. I mean, imagine this disappointment when people go to the Snoop Dogg Bowl and the Colorado Buffaloes. It's the wrong Colorado team. But I guess is marijuana legal in both of these states, Ohio and Colorado, or is it just Colorado?
I think just Colorado.
Just Colorado, yeah.
Okay, well then give me the Rams. All right, the Rams of Colorado State. All right, Blake, the Go Bowling Military Bowl. East Carolina Pirates 7-5, NC State Wolfpack at 6-6.
Is East Carolina a state? Can I get a fact check?
I don't think so, but they got a great midfield logo. I'll say that much.
The Pirate is great. I went with North Carolina earlier, so I'm gonna roll with the Carolina theme here. I picked Isn't James Madison up in the Carolinas? Maybe they're in Virginia.
Sure. It's over there somewhere.
So
it's not Knoxville, so that's all that matters.
I'll take East Carolina in this one. The Pirates.
East Carolina. NC State Wolfpack at 6-6. One of those big games that Tennessee hangs their hat on. Of course, it would have been nice if we beat a 6-6 team in our own conference. But anyways, nothing here. You went East Carolina, right?
Yep.
All right. Josh Thorne, Valero Alamo Bowl, taking on the 17 BYU Cougars at 10-2 and the 23rd ranked Colorado Buffaloes rolling. So this is a contrast, I would say, if I can say that, of teams. We got the flash of Colorado and the non-flash of BYU, and Josh Thorne be picking it. And so he's going with, he says, give me prime just because. Insert BYU Latter-day Saint joke. So there you go. Colorado at 9-3.
Money up from BYU. They gave that basketball player $7 million.
Good gracious. Let me tell you, Joseph Smith rocking it. Deep pockets, baby. Deep pockets. All right, Will, you got the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl with the Marshall Thundering Herd at 10-3, who we dissed in that conference championship, and they took it out on the opposing team. Number 22, Army Black Knights 11-1. And if SMU has an argument to be in, where are the Black Knights? Let's just say this. Who you got, Will?
That's true. I'm never going to go against our country. So we are the champs of 2 world wars. So give me the Army Black Knights.
We are not Marshall. We are Army.
Boom. So Army, doubling down on the Marshall attack here. I like
Army
it.
Is a 15-point favorite. Now, hopefully this Saturday when they play Navy, they won't, things won't go haywire and they'll keep the momentum going as conference champs. So
very nice. Very nice. And so we have Benjamin Hayes, who's out probably eating birthday cake or something. We have the Trans Perfect Music City Bowl.
Oh,
right? They must be missing Tennessee. That used to be their yearly trip. I'm kind of missing them being there myself. We have the Iowa Hawkeyes, 8-4, who probably actually are averaging 16 points a game, which is an increase of 16 points from last year. So taking on the Missouri Tigers, number 19 Missouri Tigers at 9-3. And
Whose best wide receiver just entered the portal as well? Their dude is gone.
So Ben is rolling, of course, with the team that just lost their best player, the Missouri Tigers. That leaves me with the ReliaQuest Bowl with the number 11 Alabama Crimson Tide at 9-3, taking on the 7-5 Michigan Wolverines, who, unfortunately for all of us, has a very good defensive front. You know what we're going to do? We're going to run it right at it. Dadgummit. I can tell you that this is the least fired up I've been about bowl season in a really long time, right? Let's just have a rematch for last year, which probably works for Alabama. Like I don't know that if we play anybody else, do they really care? Well, there's a chance for revenge, so I'm hoping. Right, you got DeBoer, who lost the national championship to Michigan. You got the Tide, who got beat by Michigan, knocked out of the playoffs. So hopefully there's enough revenge factor here that I'm going to go against my better judgment and roll with the Crimson Tide right here to maybe get it done against a 7-5 team. But who knows? So the Tide rolls in the ReliaQuest Bowl. And that brings us to Blake. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Louisville Cardinals at 8-4 and the Washington Huskies at 6-6.
I think this is going to be a pretty good game. I cannot go with any team that the new Alabama coach has ever been associated with. So I'm going to go with the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville.
There you go. Josh Thorne. Actually, I need to if we're going snack, this next game is my favorite. Okay. And it is the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
With the number 15 South Carolina Gamecocks and the number 20 Fighting Illini of Illinois. And this is a Josh Thorne pick here. And so we're going to look at what he had to say here. That handsome, wonderful human being that is
Travis,
here with us.
I'll give you a little airtime here while you find this pick. So, pro tip: I don't know if any of you guys are chili fans. It's
I know what's going here, bro.
You put you some Cheez-Its and some chili, it will change your life
for the better.
Cheez-Its and chili, maybe throw a little sour cream, maybe a little cheese on top. You get you some Cheez-Its and you throw it in that chili, and it is phenomenal.
What about the white cheddar cheese?
Oh, yeah. You put a few of those in there with a few of the cheddar, a few of the white cheddar, maybe some jalapeno Cheez-Its, man. The pepper jack kind. Man, can't go wrong with that and some chili.
Amen, brother. Amen. Do it. Cheez-It is not a sponsor, but oh, man. Would I love it, bro? We just shut down every podcast from here. It'd be over because we'd reached the pinnacle, right? Like, forget Joe Rogan. Give me the Cheez-It sponsorship. And Josh is rolling with the South Carolina Gamecocks because he feels like out of all the hosed flags, right, I would throw Ryan Williams at Oklahoma. Probably not going to win the game, but that was a great catch. Like, don't deprive college football of that catch. Okay, I'm more upset about that because I don't think we win the game anyways, but that's a great catch. And then the flag on LSU on South Carolina against LSU. South Carolina wins that game. They're in the playoff, right? Yep. And so he's going with South Carolina. I would go with South Carolina because they kept Tennessee out of the playoffs last year, that 1 year. Thank you, South Carolina. Of course, they had to get to 12 to get, the Knoxvillians in there. But nonetheless, South Carolina is the pick. Will, you got the Kinders Texas Bowl, Baylor Bears 8-4, LSU Tigers.
I have been to both of these stadiums. LSU's does smell like corn dogs and is terrible. But then Lindsay and I were in Waco and we weren't at a football game, but we went past Baylor Stadium and we saw the Baylor Bears. And the Baylor Bears are a little weak and puny. It was not that impressive. And since our main man, Dale Sheehy, is down there in Waco and in Baylor country, but is an LSU fan, I'm going to roll with Dale and the LSU Tigers.
The LSU Tigers.
And I also think that if Brian Kelly loses this game, it's going to blow up in Baton Rouge. So I think they have to get this. It is a monumental game for them.
Very nice. So we will pick the second round of the college football playoff later once we know who the teams are. So the Boise State game will be picked by Ben at a later date. The Arizona State game will be picked by me at a later date. Blake will pick the Oregon game. Josh will pick the Georgia Bulldogs game. And so we are back to the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl with the 9-3 Duke Blue Devils taking on the number 14 fighting Andy Duncans of the Ole Miss Oxford area, 9-3, and that is a Will Mahan pick again.
The only thing that worries me about this is, does Ole Miss have a bunch of people opt out? And I don't know.
I hadn't seen that yet. It is not.
Yeah, seen it, but this game isn't until January the 2nd.
Oh yeah.
Duke's quarterback was in Auburn today.
Okay. So, like, it kind of worries me because, I'm assuming that Lane has dudes down there. No one seems more ticked off at the committee than Lane Kiffin's Twitter account. And so I'm going to roll with Lane because also this would be, if I'm not mistaken, of course, Andy can correct us, I think it would be Lane's third 10-win season. And that's probably going to cement him as one of the greats down there in Mississippi. My father-in-law also went to Ole Miss for a year. So I'm going to go with the Rebs.
Nice. Ben got a Texas state-size rumble in the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl. I really hope this bowl is like on the other side of the planet for North Texas Mean Green at 6-6 and the Texas State Bobcats at 7-5. And Hayes is rolling with the Bobcats, and they actually spell cats the way it's supposed to be spelled. So shout out to you, Texas State. That leads me to the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Somebody's going to eat mayonnaise and or get dumped mayonnaise on them. And I'm just here to say I love Minnesota's coach. Andy Duncan's is hotty toddy. 3-10 win will happen. We'll win by 3, finally going for points on a 4th and 20. Don't lose to Kentucky and you're in. That's got to be even more painful, right? Like Oklahoma has dudes, okay? Vandy has a quarterback. Kentucky.
Even Auburn beat Kentucky.
So
Kentucky.
my heart's out to you, Andy. I hope you get your 10 wins. We'll be pulling for the Ole Miss Rebels. I will.
Wasn't Kentucky 4-8 too? I think that's.
Yes, they were 4-8. So
it was bad.
Love you, Andy. Sorry to bring it up, but I need someone to be sad with me. Okay. Yeah. My thoughts exactly. So give me Minnesota, the Golden Gophers at 7-5, rowing the boat, rowing the mayonnaise.
I was about to say, is it still the row the boat guy?
They have a beaver or a gopher in a boat as their logo.
What's his name? What's the
PJ Flip?
That's right, PJ Flip.
He's a beautiful human being. Blake, you got the Bahamas Bowl with the Buffalo Bulls at 8-4 and the Liberty Flames at 8-3. Your boys' former school.
Yep. So Caden Salter, the Liberty quarterback who was rumored to Auburn last year, he has now hit the portal for the second year in a row. And so I think that leaves the Buffalo Bulls to get the dub in the Bahamas. This is probably one of the only non-playoff balls that I would want to play in, man. Going down to the Bahamas on a free ticket, sign me up.
Very nice. Yeah, I'll go. Let's both go. Let's all go. Sponsor the show. We'll all go. I don't know any more raps. Sorry, Snoop, if you're watching. he is a rapper, right? He was a rapper at one point. So when we get down to the final 8 teams or the final 4, we will all get a chance to pick, and it may come down to the coin flip of doom, and the same for the national championship. We'll do all that later. Any like who's winning it, who's taking the national championship this year from the outset? Josh Thorne, glad you joined us online. He said, hang the banner in the SIP. And Bryant Denny boat raced UGA and lose to nobody SEC team. We beat Georgia, right? So we're de facto SEC champs. Hang the banner. Just kidding. Don't do that because I never want to think about it again. You guys got a pick, sleeper pick. You guys watching, put down in the comments who you think winning the Natty. Call your shot with 12 teams left.
I'll tell you what I hope happens, Travis. I hope Oregon wins. That way Phil Knight will stop throwing tens of millions of dollars at these recruits. A guy from Alabama, from the state of Alabama, he was down between Auburn and Ohio State and Oregon. Naeem Offord. And he chose Oregon because Phil Knight and him are going to work on his signature shoe. This kid's 18 years old in high school, and he's already being promised a signature shoe by Phil Knight. So I'm getting kind of tired of that. Like Auburn and Georgia had recruited a different recruit since the 8th grade. Texas comes in October, offers double NIL. He's gone. So I'm getting a little tired of this, but I hope Oregon finally gets one. Cam Newton, ripped it from their hands back in 2010. So I'd like to see Oregon finally get on the board and win one.
But who got the raw end of the deal more than Oregon? Like, you run the table, you're the number 1 seed, and you got to play Tennessee, Ohio State.
Yeah, they got a tough draw.
And then if you win that one, more than likely, if the favorites win, you got to play Texas right after that, the next game. I mean, that's, to me, it's.
Meanwhile, Penn State ain't won a big game since I've been alive, and they're going to get SMU and Boise State.
Which, between Boise, SMU, and Penn State, they've only combined played 2 top 25 teams. All 3 teams have combined for 2. So I'm kind of like Blake. I think Oregon winning it that'd be kind of cool. I just don't think they can. I mean, you run through Tennessee, Ohio State, then Texas. Really and truly, I think it's set up for Georgia to go win it, just being on the bottom side of the bracket. But I don't know. It seems like Carson Beck's out for the remainder.
Yeah,
so
UCL.
How good is the backup? But
he's not great.
I mean, ETN's good.
Shout out to that Georgia backup because he got hammered at the goal line.
How good is Beck, anyways? I mean, really? I mean,
he's an above average college. He's not a game changer. He's not
hand the ball off to the beast.
Yeah.
SEC schools that are in this thing, hand the ball off to the beast. Let them eat.
I think Georgia's defense is also, especially coming out of the bottom of the bracket. The bottom of the bracket is it is subpar teams in the bottom of the bracket. And so I don't see it.
Who you think? Let's see. You got Clemson with Dabo. He's been to the top of the heap. He won one of the 4 teams, right? Or was he?
Yeah.
He won one of the 4 teams, 2 of the 4 teams, I guess. Both over Bama. And you got Kirby, who's won it, right? Anybody else in the 12 that have won a Natty?
Dan Lanning was on staff of a Natty, but he wasn't the dude.
Yeah.
He was on
staff.
He would have won 2 with Georgia. Sark, did Sark win one? Sark,
was he part of one at Alabama?
He was 2020, right?
Yeah, he was. So he would have won 1.
Speaking of that, Sark, feel free to come home, man. Like, hey, like, I'm not saying head coach because I'm still kind of out. I don't know, right? But like offensive coordinator, like, wow. come on home, baby.
Yeah, he should definitely do that. One thing that I am interested in seeing is how Ashton Genty fares against some big time competition. Okay, big boy, you're in the Heisman race. You've been playing all these smaller schools, putting up 200 yards a game. I was looking at his over-under totals for one game. It was 186 yards. That was his over-under for the game. And so
it's insane.
I know they're going to probably play Penn State in that they get the first round bye, but they're going to probably going to play Penn State. Penn State's got a tough defense. So if he can run the ball on Penn State, then I'm in on Genty. But I'd like to see what he's all about.
Josh, we lost that one. The one he stepped in on. But Genty.
Here's how it's going to go down, fellas. I'm calling it right now, right? Kirby wins another one, right? He gets an itch to go to the pros. He jumps to the pros. He flops. About that time, DeBoer gets the call to go be an offensive coordinator in the NFL, and Kirby comes home to where he rightfully belongs in T-Town, and the whole party starts over again. And then there's going to be 64 teams in just so Alabama has a harder time to win it all, right? And we just keep showing back up.
Travis, are you wearing crimson shaded contact lenses by chance?
I am. It's.
I'm going to go throw up.
It could happen. Guys, I appreciate the time. Will, what you got?
I was going to say, who's going to be the Heisman winner before we go?
Here we go. Here's my pick. No one cares. JV squads, baby. JV squads.
Do they give it to Travis Hunter?
Yes.
They're going to give it to the Oregon quarterback as a lifetime achievement and most miles traveled.
Yeah, because he's been
to play football games.
Oklahoma, UCF.
So, I mean, honestly, do you think Hunter wins it, or do you think it goes to Gabriel?
No, it's not going to Gabriel.
Genty.
Genty?
It'll be Genty or Hunter. They're probably going to give it to Travis Hunter because he's a Desmond Howard way better than him. And
I've heard
he's
that
got all the hype in the media.
I've heard that Colorado is absolutely hacked that Shadur didn't make it.
Oh, yeah. He didn't make the finalists.
No one cares. Hype's award. It's a hype award. Even when Bama players win it, hype award. I don't care anything about it. But listen, guys, you're talking about the NIL. Jump in a time machine, go back 5 to 10 years, and ask Travis Creasy how you destroy college football, and what you're seeing right now is the game plan that I would give them. So, anyways, I'm looking forward to it. Let's watch a bunch of overpaid ninnies play football, or don't. They're probably overpaid. The ones overpaid aren't even playing probably, but looking forward to it.
It was much better when we secretly paid them under the table.
Yes. Hugh Freeze was much better when everybody wasn't paying. Now that everybody's paying.
Let's just hand out money in McDonald's sacks on the sideline.
See, I like that, Blake. I like that. You guys take it easy. We'll be back again to pick the other playoff games. Love you guys. Hope you're doing well.